Hello again and welcome to Barbados Racing. In this edition, of course, we'll be looking at this restart of the season. You know, we took that break due to COVID, and who better to talk about it than the CEO of the Barbados Turf Club, Rosette Peirce. Hi, Mrs. Peirce.
Hi, Andy. Nice to see you back at the Garrison after an overextended break.
And you as well.
Yes.
On Saturdays, I didn't know what to do with myself.
Me either, to be honest.
Exactly. So we're starting this Saturday with the 70th running
of the
Guineas being the highlight, 9 races on the card.
Yes.
But before we get to that, of course, I think it's very important, very significant to talk about the protocols that we will still have to follow once races restart.
Yeah, that's the first order of business for us as well, Andy, because it is new. It's what we have to become accustomed to, because I expect that it will go on for a while, but the priority is to keep our patrons safe and to protect the staff as well as the people who are coming to the Garrison. So with that in mind, we met with the COVID monitoring unit some weeks ago. They did a tour of the facility. The Garrison was deemed to be unique in the way it presents itself, and so certain things had to be discussed and put in place in order to get us up and running again. Those things would be subject to review based on how the event goes on the 24th. But just to touch on a few things we discussed, we're going to be taking temperatures at the entrance. Sanitizers have been placed throughout the facility. We've reduced numbers in certain key areas which are enclosed, but thankfully the unit agreed that because we're an open facility, fresh air all through the Garrison, we were not going to be too restrictive in terms of the numbers coming in to the grandstand and other open areas, and particularly on the outfield. So not too restrictive, but enough that we can protect not only the patrons but our staff as well and our stakeholders. So we're satisfied with the way the matter is being handled.
And of course, we would expect that the people on the outfield would use their common sense to do what they have to do.
That is exactly what we're counting on. I think Barbados has been going through this long enough that we all should have gotten accustomed to the rules and regulation and protocols put in place, that we've familiarized ourselves, we've accustomed ourselves to it, and we have to bring that same principle and responsibility here. We are each responsible for ourselves. Now that we're mentioning that, you can see we're sitting in the grandstand, and just as you and I are sitting here today, that's what we expect from strangers on the day, because again, what the unit suggested to us is that couples, people from the same household, there's no problem with you sitting together, but certainly if you arrive and the person next to you is not someone that you're familiar with, try and keep your distance, you know, and keep your mask on.
Okay.
Mask at all times.
Okay, so we've gotten past, I almost had a hurdle, but of course we've gotten past that stage of the program for Saturday. The main focus, apart from that, will be the races itself. Like I said, we're all enthusiastic, all excited
very much
to be
so.
back here at the Garrison. And what a day to restart with the 70th running
of the Guineas.
Of the Barbados
A big
Guineas.
a big one. We're opening with a big one. The horses are well rested. They're highly competitive. Everybody, I've been watching the workouts on Saturday mornings and Wednesdays, and I have to tell you, it will be a tough call. It really would be. Highly competitive race, oversubscribed. Not everyone got in. They will be vetted on Saturday morning to ensure that everybody's in good shape, and if not, somebody else will take the place. But we're counting on everyone to be fine and ready to produce on the day.
But I think you made a good point there that the Guineas is oversubscribed, because I've noticed from the sheep, we have some big fields.
We do have some big fields. It's been a long time without racing, and everybody's ready and raring to go. And what happens when you have such a break? It gives the horses time to rest and recover. So everybody is fit and ready. So naturally, everybody wants to run. But unfortunately, because of the investment we've made into the track, we were unable to split those larger fields, and we restricted ourselves to a maximum of 9 races on the day. Unfortunate, but a necessary evil if we're going to protect our investment.
Well, 9 races is not too bad. What time are we starting?
12:30.
12:30 start.
Yeah, 12:30 start on Saturday.
We can hardly wait.
Yeah.
What about the tourists? You know, around this time we normally get a lot of tourists coming the races, highly patronizing the various events right down through the winter. What are you counting on?
Well, we haven't had too much interactions with the hotels since we've been closed. A few tourists have come through on their own accord and asked what will be going on, but unfortunately most of those people would have departed by the time we were ready to race on Saturday. But I think the government is doing a great job. They've put the right protocols in place, and we simply have, again, to take responsibility for ourselves and maintain the protocols and guidelines that we've been enforcing for the past 8 months. And I think that all should be well. The tourists are welcome to come here. Our only restriction, as I said before, we simply don't want to encourage tourists into enclosed areas. We don't want strangers in the enclosed areas. And for that reason, we won't be selling tickets to our boxes and the private members lounge and those type of places that are air conditioned and more susceptible to the transfer of any virus or so. But I think we're good. We're going to be fine.
We're off and running.
We're off and running. I have utmost confidence not only in my staff and the people around here, but in Barbados as a whole. And that's demonstrated by the way we've been handling things for the past few months.
Okay, you mentioned earlier our quote-unquote investment into regrading the track and so on. It may seem to a lot of people to have been a fairly tardy exercise, have to import grass, etc. Yeah. How did it go generally?
I wouldn't use the word tardy, but you would expect that from me. But when I think about it, you know, we went through a period there. I don't think this track was redone now for at least 20 years.
Wow.
It was way overdue. We had some bad press due to some injuries and so on, which again, we couldn't quite blame that on the track, but we recognized that we needed to do some work, invest in the track, create the best possible surface, because it's not just about the Barbados Turf Club and its investment, but we have owners and trainers and jockeys and grooms that are invested in this product as well. And it's up to us as the host to make sure that all involved are safe, they're comfortable, and it's fair and equitable for every person participating in the sport. So to say that we were tardy, no. We had a plan going forward that we would have done this anyway in August. Just so happened that COVID reared its ugly head and we pushed things along. Did everything go smoothly and fall into place? No, it rarely ever does. But looking at the track today, now, I can't say we were tardy. I think we've made quite a significant investment that will reap rewards, and I'm very proud of what we've accomplished here.
And of course, since the break, we've also had the installation of the lights for night racing.
Yes, we've started the installation of the lights. I think we've got about 6 or 7 of them up now. The concern was that they would be a bit intrusive and ugly going around the Garrison, but from all reports, people hardly notice that they're up. They're not intrusive at all. They're going to signal a new era for horse racing. We're going to have some night racing. We're going to have some day racing or bigger race days such as Gold Cup and the Derby and Boxing Day. We are considering leaving them as day events because they're successful in their own right.
Right.
Okay, so the night racing, and it's more of a day-night type rather than a late-night event as well. So because we've got neighbors and so on that live in the area, so we're planning to start in the day, late evening,
5 o'clock?
and then go in. I'm not quite sure, but I know it's not a full night.
Right.
Okay, so we have more than enough horses. As a matter of fact, we're completely out of stalls right now. So racing is on the up, not on the down. We're on the up.
Thank you, Mrs. Peirce.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Next up, the iconic commentator, Lyndon Yard, speaking to the well-rounded Eddie Belle and some of his staff. It's amazing the amount of things Eddie Belle can do in terms of horse racing promotion, etc. And his staff, boy, there's something else. Take it over, Lyndon.
I'm joined by trainer, photographer, long-standing worker, horse extraordinaire, none other than Eddie Belle, as we look at the consistent contribution that Syndicate, former Syndicate, now legends of racing, have made to horse racing in Barbados. Eddie, morning.
Good morning. Well, actually, Legends of Racing started in 2020. Before that, it was Aisha Syndicate, owner Laurent Gibbs. He had horses from back in the 80s, as you said. He had a horse in the Gold Cup in 83 with Glen Affric. But Aisha Syndicate actually started in 2003. And the first horse they had running was Dublin. The first Aisha Syndicate winner was Zero Rated, a Jamaican bred horse. That was 2005, I think.
Several trainers, Liz Dean, Naz Issa, yourself, Robert Peirce, and the company has gone from strength to strength. The racing empire has gone from strength to strength. How did he build it up through those trainings along with Victor Cheeseman?
Well, when he started, Robert Peirce was the principal trainer. So Robert had Dublin and Zero Rated, a Crimea River, those sort of horses. And after Robert left, then Liz Dean was the trainer. Richard Dean came after, and then Victor. Sean Hall trained for a few months as well.
Throughout the years, what were some of the major races that Aisha Syndicate then would have won?
Well, actually, they've done well, actually. He won the Spa Sprint twice with a horse called Who's Cruising. Who's to say was also successful. He was a top sprinter. Well, Cat also won the Spa Sprint. The Flagship horse, though, probably would have been Just a Fashion. He won the Coolmore twice. He won the Ansel McCall. He was Horse of the Year. He was champion older horse. We had Dr. Fur. Dr. Fur also won the Coolmore. Placed in the Coolmore, he won the Victor Chandler, which is now the Diamonds race on Boxing Day. That the Fur actually equal the track record twice for 7.8, running 133.2. Those would have been the main. Who's Reverend as well. Who's Reverend also did well. She won the Victor Chandler 2 on Boxing Day, which would have been our grade 1 on that day. She ran second to Whiskey for me in the Gold Cup.
And that was also from your farm as well.
That was also from Aisha Syndicate. We had a 1-2 that year. Whiskey won the Gold Cup that year. Well, the only Gold Cup winner actually for Aisha Syndicate has been Whiskey for me so far.
Dr. Fur still alive?
Dr. Fur still alive.
How old is he now?
20 years old. He's still on the farm. He spends his days with the mirrors, and he shepherds around everybody and make sure who comes in the paddock he likes and who he don't like. You can't put them out there. Florette, we acquired Florette like mainly for breeding purposes.
Right.
She had a couple of starts. She placed as well, but she was acquired mainly for breeding purposes.
She would have won the 2017 Barbados Guineas.
Guineas, yeah.
But I understand there's also Legion.
Yeah, we've got Legion, but we only own half of Legion with Philip Mosley. Legion ran second in the Midsummer Classic and the Derby. Injury curtailed his career.
Right, I think that was won by Butterfly, if my memory
Yeah,
is correct.
yes.
Right. So you got some very good horses. You have produced some very good horses. Who's Reverend, as I said. Elaborate on her. I think she did well. Despite
Who's Reverend did well. I think she ran about 40 times. She won more than 10 races. She ran second in the Gold Cup to Whiskey. She won the Victor Chandler. She won at 5. She won at 7. She was a top horse. Unfortunately, we've not been able to get any foals out of her to make the track that were of any significance. But she's in foal again, so we are hoping for the best this time to see if at least we can get something out of her before she dies.
you had a strong handle on the Coolmore, several Coolmore winners. Highlighted, of course, with Just a Fashion, but Duke the Fur that we talked about also won the Coolmore.
Yeah.
We noticed that almost every year Mr. Gibbs was bringing 2 imported. How important was bringing it imported to blend with the local stock that he had purchased to the racing empire here?
It was very important to him. He always brought in imported horses. You had lots of them: Sabria Light, Don't Go, Russian Lad, and actually he was a Caribbean man. He raced horses in Trinidad under Aisha Syndicate too. He had Smoking Dude in Jamaica. So actually he was around the Caribbean, on the Caribbean racing circuit as well.
Elaborate on Just a Fashion's career. I think he went 7 straight. If my memory serves me correct.
I think he did win 7 straight. He had 14 wins. He was the champion 3-year-old in 2014. He was the Horse of the Year in 2015. He won the Coolmore twice. Actually, the second one, I think he ran 149, which was one of the fastest Coolmores. He was the imported Horse of the Year in 2017. He won the Ansel McCall quite easy with Jerlon Samuels, but he's been our flagship horse. He's been the best Aisha horse, I'd say. Now been retired, and he'll walk around the farm and devote his life until.
Wildcat, I think that was his travel companion from the States.
Yes, he did come with Wildcat. Wildcat was a good sprinter too, but Wildcat had problems breathing, wind problems, and actually had a tie forward. But he was good enough to win the spa sprint still.
I think that's a half. Wildcat is a half to Stewart Adventures, isn't it?
No, they're by the same sire. They're by the same sire, and he equaled the track record for 5 furlongs as well, 5.5 furlongs as well.
In terms of locally bred horses, who are some of the real standouts that Aisha Syndicate would have over the years?
Over the years, I think the standout local bred horse probably might be Carbon Copy, but he's had other horses that have done well too. Zero Rated won a couple of races.
Watch That Birdie.
Watch That Birdie. She ran a couple sprints as well. Her career was short too, but she was quick. There were so many horses that passed through the stable. Yeah, off the top of my head, I've got research to remember them. There were lots of them.
Okay. Having switched from Aisha Syndicate to Legends of Racing, your flagship breed horse now is called Rising Star, and I think we will see him on Saturday if the weather allows us, as the racing resumes on the 24th of October. Elaborate on him, please. How's he going since the Gold Cup?
Well, since the Gold Cup, I think he's gotten better. He's now finally acclimatized.
He's doing the track.
He's at the track. Yeah, I think he's fully acclimatized now. He's been going well at exercise. He's pleased me, and I was blessed to be able to train him. So I am happy with him. I'm happy with how he's going. I'm looking forward to his running next week if races do come off.
And what do you think the future holds for him? The young horse, only 4 years old.
I think he's an A-class horse. The races I've seen him run before and what I have seen so far since training him, I think he's an A-class horse and he'll go places.
So you can expect good things from him?
I'm expecting good things.
Well on the 24th.
Yes, 4th in his first start in the Coolmore when he came, and then he ran 3rd in the Gold Cup with the big boys.
So he's heading in the right direction.
He is going in the right direction, and he's showing that he's in that league. I think horse racing in Barbados is on the up, despite some of the negativity that comes from some people around the sport. The interest is there, and I think that increased prize money and more racing and creative ideas and things racing in Barbados could go places. Race day that's coming up, we've got a horse from Trinidad running, we've got one from Antigua running, we've got horses from St. Lucia running. So I think that Barbados really is the place for racing in the Caribbean. The lights are also going up. That would be a novelty. I think that will attract a lot of people, and running on an evening or at night might be beneficial for the racing public because a lot of people work now. But to have the free time of, say, a Friday night, if it is going to be a Friday night, will surely attract a lot of people, just like when we have evening racing. All the days that the Turf Club had evening racing were really well attended, and so I think night racing would take off.
I think it could also benefit what do you think about horses who normally bleed during the day, during the sun? The fact that they can be racing out in a much cooler condition.
Well, that should help, although the bleeding part comes mainly from exercise induced. But with cooler conditions, it should benefit the horses. Horses should be happier.
I want to say thank you very much to trainer, photographer, horse extraordinaire Belle for this enlightening interview re the establishment of this racing empire, Aisha Syndicate. Formerly Aisha Syndicate, no Legends of Racing.
No Legends of Racing. Thank you very much.
Fittingly appropriate for the name and the title of the racing empire, no Legends of Racing, we've been joined by two legends. On the right is Duke Defer at 18 years old. He's done it all, enjoying his retirement. On his left, Duke Defer's left, is Winfield Griffith, and he's been in racing for a number of years, aka Snatcher. Tell us about your entry into horse racing.
Well, I started from in the Polo stable, learned to ride horses as a little boy, and then we decided that we got me and some more guys we got called races was running, so we did like races, so we used to always go to the Garrison. So we decided we can go in Garrison to work, and we ended up going to Garrison to work with Bill Marshall. And in my first start as a groom, I won the race.
On the Bill Marshall tour?
On the Bill Marshall with a horse called Interfrolic.
Right. Who are some of the other stables or other owners and trainers that you would have worked with before you landed here at Syndicate, no Legends of Racing?
Well, I worked for, I used to man a horse for a guy called Christian Roberts at one of the Lone Star restaurant. Horse called Area. One was nothing at first. About when I had it to mine, two lanes with it straight.
I understand you also ventured into riding in discoveries.
Yes, I did, for the same guy, Christian Roberts.
When did you move over to Syndicate?
Well, it's about 8 years now.
How have you found working here at Syndicate?
It's good, so I don't have no problems.
Who are some of the difficult horses you had to be aware of compared to some that were very calm that you could do just about anything in their stalls?
Well, I have a stallion around there by the name of Charge It that is one of the most difficult horses I ever worked with in a while. Because I can't go in the store, I can't take up the hotel with the bait to go in his stall and open the door just like that. Because he was ready for that, yeah, so I go out, take it up and wait till he comes to the door and put it on over the door.
What is it that kept you and drew you to horses?
Wow, as I told you, from the time I was a boy, yeah, I could even ride, so I like the speed for sure. I love it, yard, because they can handle it.
As a youngster, more than 53 years ago, you ever envisioned that you would have become a jockey?
Well, from small I wanted to be when I started riding the horses, but the racing thing, you know, showed me a way.
How do you feel when an extra Syndicate horse passed the post first?
It's a joy to my heart, because I'm part of the team.
Thank you very much and all the best.
Same to you, Mr. Yard.
Racing an absolutely level beginning for the 2015 Coolmore Home of Champions Stakes, and Sirius Black pops up to the lead. On the outside, Indiana Jones is going to go up and contest that. On the outside of these is Just a Fashion. Vitality is on the inside. So they turn towards us now with just over a circuit to go. It is on the inside, Sirius Black, and on the outside, Indiana Jones. Towards the outside is Just a Fashion, 3 wide. Down the inside is Vitality. Then comes Daunting David. Marcus Antonius has one beaten at this point, and that is Derby Kitten. The opening quarter, 26 flat as they head towards a 5 furlong marker. It is Indiana Jones and Rashawn Latchman leading from Just a Fashion and Bishop. Down the inside, Sirius Black and Carter. Then comes Vitality and Austin. The both field paired all together. These are on the outside. Daunting David going up with Whitehall. On the inside, Marcus Antonius and Trotman. And Trent's husband sees the field aboard Derby Kitten after a half of 48-1. They round the far turn and head back towards their departure point. And the leader is Just a Fashion in front by a length and a half from Indiana Jones, who's hard ridden. Sirius Black under pressure. So too is Daunting David. Marcus Antonius with a renewed effort. Vitality is dropped away as Derby Kitten improves. The 6th in 1:13-1. They've got a quarter mile to go. And it's Just a Fashion in front by 2. Here's Sirius Black running at him. Indiana Jones has had enough. Wide on the outside, here's Derby Kitten. Marcus Antonius and Daunting David inside the final furlong. It is on the inside, Just a Fashion on the right-hand drive. On the outside, here's Sirius Black with a last desperate search, but he's not going to get there. It is going to be Just a Fashion who wins it now by just about a neck from on the outside. Sirius Black close for third between on the inside Indiana Jones and Marcus Antonius. The last one home was Vitality. The winner stopped the clock in 1:50-4. In a moment, we'll be back with a recap for you. And they're racing. Island Memories is a little slow to go. Sirius Black popped away very sharply under Ricky Walker. Goes to the lead. Just a Fashion races right up on the outside of his second. Down the inside is Marcus Antonius third. Aristodemus races fourth. Then there's Jake Sam. Behind Jake Sam, pulling hard on the inside is Daunting David. Next to that one is Giovidi. Island Memories has caught the field, and Daga is the trailer as they race towards us after opening quarter of 25-3. Coming past the stands the first time, it is Just a Fashion who's come to the lead, being pressed on the inside by Marcus Antonius. If you're looking for Jake Sam, that's the grey on the inside third. Sirius Black, the Creole, races fourth. Down the inside is Daunting David, and Aristodemus races as a pair to his outside. Then we get Giovidi, Island Memories. Dagger spots the field at about 3 or 4 lengths as they round down the back stretch, the half and 50 flat. And it is Just a Fashion in front by a length and a half from Marcus Antonius. Down the inside is Still Jake Sam. Cyrus Black runs in 4th. Then there's Daunting David, Aristodemus being hard ridden. There's Island Memories, Giovidi not going on, and Dagger yet to find her best ride as they come back past the departure point. And it's Just a Fashion in front by about a length and a half from Marcus Antonius, who's hard ridden. Jake Sam on the inside has to be checked. Sirius Black runs a big race into 3rd. There's Daunting David with his hand. Giovidi starts to close. Inside the quarter pole they come. And it's Just a Fashion in front by 2.5. But Sirius Black is coming with a grand run on the outside. Daunting David switched wide on the outside inside the final furlong. And it's Just a Fashion on the inside. On the outside here's Sirius Black. Sirius Black and Just a Fashion. Sirius Black from Just a Fashion. Sirius Black and Just a Fashion. Not the where. Inseparable. Very close between Just a Fashion and Sirius Black. Marcus Antonio was 3rd. Then came Daunting David. Then on the outside, Jake Sam, Giovidi.
They're all in. The red flag is quickly raised. The light is flicking away in the distance. And the gates are open from the inside. Just My Girl is quick, but surpassed by stablemate Wildcat T. So, as they jump the sand and into the grass once again on the outside, Poet License goes screaming by on the outside. Change the guard up front. It is Poet License who lead from Wildcat T on the inside, running, ranging up on the in-between horses. That one is Noble Intent. One shocking on the outside in the shocking green. That's Lucky Adventure. So, once again, it is very quick up front. Poet License leads Lucky Adventure. Wildcat T relegated to 3rd. Then there's Noble Intent on the outside. About one trotting nicely is Lucky Me. Down on the rail comes Arrowhead in between horses. Just My Girl, Lavani in a lot of trouble. The back marker is Marcus Antonius, and he will have a lot of work to do at the back of the race. They come back towards the quarter pole, and it is against the rail. Poetic License who leads. Lucky Adventure, Wildcat T not going on one, circling on the outside of the line. They come back towards the corner. We have a tremendous horse race as they turn forward. Just about 3 in the line. On the outside is Lucky Adventure in between horses. Once again, here comes Wildcat T. It is Wildcat T who picks up and goes on by a length and a half. Lucky Adventure trying. Here comes Marcus Antonius on the outside, but that will be futile. It is Wildcat T. Ease down. The engines have been turned off.
As expected, goes very prominently to the lead. Also early is a tool along the inside. We can see Don Agason is prominent. China Sabra is also close up. Whiskey for Me, Salute the Colors is on the outside. Then we get South Sea, they're very close to order. Then dropping back on the inside is Lightning Pilot. On the outside of Lightning Pilot is Duke the First. Stravinsky Secret is on the outside. And favorite player can see them all as their Thunder Pass to stand in the Gold Cup. The leader is a tool. Andy Ward taking this one to the lead. On the outside is Who's Wavering. Then we come to Kentucky Chill and Dawn Angle Sunny. On the outside is South Sea. China Seabre is next. Then going up on the outside of that one is Duke the First. Stravinsky Salute the Colors is next. Along the inside, that one is Whiskey for Me. 4 back to Lightning Pilot, favorite player. And the last one at this point is Stravinsky Secret for the run.
That's the way they both go by the half-mile mark in the Gold Cup. The leader is still a tool. On the outside, Who's Wavering. On the inside, Kentucky Chill begins to feel the pinch. South Sea is running a blinder on the outside. Right there is a favorite, Duke the Fur. Then down on the inside, I can see that one going very nicely indeed. Is Whiskey for Me and Kentucky Chill as they race past the 3 and head down to the quarter now. The leader is Duke the Fur. That one has struck the lead. No, it's Who's Wavering from a tool in second position. In hot pursuit is stable companion Duke the Fur. Down on the outside, make him steady head with Whiskey for Me. That's the way they come to the corner with just over for long to travel in the Gold Cup. Who's Wavering is the lead on the inside of Tool. Here's stable companion Whiskey for Me on the outside with a big challenge. Deep down on the inside of Tool is digging in deep and finding more. But the challenge is too big for Whiskey for Me on the outside. Whiskey for Me picking it up and is going to win the Gold Cup. Whiskey for Me wins the Gold Cup by 3 lengths. So on the inside, stable companion, that's Who's Wavering runs second.
Thank you very much, Lyndon. And of course, all left now for me to say is that on Saturday, as my good friend Robert Corbin will say, see you at the races. Bye-bye for now.